feel like Popeye. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Where does SuperDerek get his superpowers from? Is it the hair? No, it's the coffee. So, we got a lot of news to go through today. Some unlikely ports coming to the Nintendo Switch, some new game announcements, a lot of stuff coming from China, PlayStation 4 got broken, and then also some new games are coming out. But before we get to any of that, we've got today's headline. And today's headline is that Fire Emblem The Three Houses is blowing the hell up right now. Guys, Fire Emblem The Three Houses is doing amazingly well. It's so far, just in the last week, it has sold 15 times the number of copies of Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, which came out in 2007, twice as many as the sales of Fire Emblem Awakening, which came out in 2013. It's currently the top-selling game in the United Kingdom. It's currently beating out Wolfenstein Youngblood by over double the sales there. And yeah, it's more than double of all of the sales of the Fire Emblem Fates games combined so far. And word on the streets is, guys, the word on the JRPG streets, where I've got the best street cred you couldn't even imagine. word on those streets is that this game is freaking fantastic, and I really can't wait to get my hands on a copy, but I got a lot of other games to get through first. So, if you've been holding out on buying this game because you're just not sure if you're on the edge, go buy this game, because as far as I can tell, there is absolutely no reason not to. It's apparently very beginner friendly for a lot of people. Like, it doesn't have, it does have permadeath, but you can turn it off if that's what you desire, if you're new to the genre. So, and it's also got stuff to offer for people who've been around for a while. So, yeah, maybe you should go check this out if you haven't already. So, Fire Emblem The Three Houses is just... I have a feeling that we're going to see more Fire Emblem before too long. Knock on wood. Okay, so that was the really big headline, but we also got a few new games that were announced and some ports and stuff that we're going to go over. And this is sort of a mixture of both of those things. Obsidian Entertainment stunned everybody last week, including myself, with the news that The Outer Worlds is coming to the Nintendo Switch. And The Outer Worlds is honestly probably the game that I'm most excited for, most hyped for at this point in time. And the fact that it's coming to Nintendo Switch is really surprising to me. I mean, given the type of game, it's a Western RPG, it's a first-person Western shooting RPG, very much like, you know, Fallout New Vegas and the Fallout series, I guess you could say. But it also looks like it's going to be inspired by a few other Western RPGs like Mass Effect. So the fact that it's coming to Nintendo Switch is really surprising. I mean, given the type of game that it is, I'd say I am personally probably more likely to want to experience this on PlayStation or PC. But the fact that it will be coming to Nintendo Switch for people who prefer their role-playing experiences on the go is going to be a really great boon to fans of the Nintendo Switch who, you know, who like playing on the go. I'm not one of those people. I like the couch experience, you know, as you can probably kind of see here. I'm kind of a couch kind of guy. I prefer a controller or, you know, sometimes keyboard and mouse. The fact that it's coming to more consoles is obviously always a good thing. The game's going to be coming out at the same time as the PS4, Xbox One, and PC release, which is going to be on October 25th of this year. Now, there were some other games that got officially announced. Some of them I've kind of already known about for a little while, and some of them I haven't. So here's a Chinese open world RPG. It's an online open world RPG called Genshin Impact that has been officially announced. And I've been keeping my eyes on this ever since one of you guys mentioned it in the comments of another video, basically calling it the Chinese Breath of the Wild. And, you know, that is about as apt a description as you could possibly get. So, publisher MiHoYo at PlayStation China Joy 2019, which is kind of like their big sort of E3 event in China. Yes, apparently they have those. I had no idea. They showcased this Breath of the Wild clone, and I use that word very, very intentionally. It's not necessarily a direct ripoff of Breath of the Wild, but the influences are blatant. Almost surprised that nobody's been sued over this so far, in fact. But I've been keeping my eyes on this for a while, and so far everything about this game looks really good, like at least visually, but that's about all you can really gauge in this is the audio and the visual experience. So it looks like Breath of the Wild, except you're gonna have like a party of 4 people, and apparently you can choose from maybe 30 people to join your party. So this is gonna apparently being developed. It's being developed by Sony Interactive Entertainment Shanghai, and is being published by MiHoYo. And this is receiving a 2020 release worldwide for PlayStation 4, PC, and mobile devices. So the fact that it's also coming to like iOS and Android apparently is kind of weird, and that's one of the things that gave me pause about this game when I first saw this trailer, this gorgeous trailer. I mean, I understand that the iPhone is a very powerful device, and it's, you know, probably going to be pretty great for gaming. I'm just surprised, but I'm also not surprised because this is a Chinese developer, and I suspect that they've got a fair number more iPhones floating around there than just random consoles. So it's kind of interesting. And also, as a side note, because apparently some people can't express themselves with words, at this point, there's a guy that's at this China Joy event, an attendee brought in his own PlayStation 4 and smashed it. Apparently this was in a form of protest to the game's similarity to Breath of the Wild. It hasn't really been expanded upon, like, was he protesting because of Breath of the Wild's influence on Chinese culture, or did he smash it because of the way that they ripped off Breath of the Wild? Is he like breaking his PlayStation 4 as a form of protest on which side of the issue? I kind of wonder. And well, anyways, not really much else is really known at this time about the specifics of this PlayStation 4 breaking, except some dude broke his PS4, assuming that it wasn't already broken, which also raises another question. So in light of Genshin Impact coming to the PlayStation 4, do any of you plan on smashing your PS4s as a form of protest? Why or not? Why not? Tell me down in the comments down below. And also coming from the PlayStation China Joy event, the showcase, there's another game called AI Limit. And this is another Chinese, quote, hardcore RPG, hardcore action RPG, rather, that is being developed by Sense Games. And this is also a game that's being planned for a PlayStation 4 release, but as of right now, no date has been given. So why are we suddenly starting to hear about these Chinese RPGs? Well, apparently it's part of Sony's initiative to support Chinese developers, mainly like startup game studios, but their goal apparently is likely to strengthen the PlayStation's ties, or not the PlayStation, strengthen PlayStation's ties with Chinese gamers, while also helping shift devs in the Chinese market to a more global sort of market so they can, you know, reach more people and sell more games. So it's just kind of an interesting initiative. It's also apparently includes another noteworthy title called Lost Souls Aside, where they apparently they actually showed off this really cool demo back in 2017 that looks very heavily inspired by like Final Fantasy 15. However, that game was specifically not present at this year's PlayStation China Joy showcase. So it's kind of interesting, right? I mean, I guess we can't call them CRPGs because that term's already been taken, right? Speaking of which, Tower of Time is coming to consoles here pretty soon. That is an isometric CRPG or computer RPG. This has actually been on Steam for some time, since about 2018 and even earlier via early access. This game is currently coming to PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and the Xbox One, and they're planning to release it in Q1 of 2020. Excuse me. I'm a little thirsty. Got a little bit of that cotton mouth. Aside from that, we also got another CRPG coming out here, I do believe. Project Witchstone was announced also for summer of 2020. Now, this is also a pen and paper inspired computer RPG that appears to be inspired by Divinity Original Sin. The game is coming to PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, and we'll have a demo this year at PAX West. That's later on this month at the end of August. Also, Minoria was announced. Minoria apparently is a side-scrolling action RPG that is a spiritual successor to Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight, which is a game that came out earlier that's also by the same developer. But this is a spiritual successor that I guess takes place in a different universe. This is also going to be coming to PC and to the Nintendo Switch, although the date has yet to be announced. In other news, Destiny Connect got a new trailer, and for those of you who have been watching regularly, you probably saw my sort of reactions to the new, the last trailer that they put out with the voiceover, that it made it sound like it was like maybe they were narrating a Nick Jr. TV show or something. It sounded like it was very much geared toward kids.
To save their town, they must traverse history and solve the mystery.
And I was like, you know, this trailer kind of killed some of my excitement. Well, I checked out the new trailer, and I gotta say that, honestly, my hype has been restored for this game. So far, the game shows attention to detail, and it shows like they've put a lot of love into this game, and it sounds like it's going to have a fantastic soundtrack if the trailer is anything to go by. The game appears to feature like a turn-based battle system, costumes and weapons that actually change as you equip different items. It looks like it's got a surprising amount of depth and character customization as the level ups. At least that's what I think I'm seeing in some of these parts. It's got that gorgeous aesthetic, really, and it looks like it's got a really nice sense of humor and style in its presentation. So the game is coming out October 22nd this year to PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch, and I gotta say, guys, I'm excited for this. I think this could be, if nobody else starts really drumming up some hype about this, I think this could be one of those maybe hidden gems that slips in under the radar, one of those things that's going to be easy to miss because it looks a little cutesy. It looks like the sort of thing that a lot of hardcore RPG manly men wouldn't want to go by because it looks kind of cartoonish, but I think that looks super cool. So keep your eyes out for this one, guys. And again, that's October 22nd. That's 3 days before the Outer Worlds. So again, that's another big thing to keep in mind. I think a lot of really hardcore manly men RPGers are going to be picking up the Outer Worlds, and this game is probably going to get sidelined pretty hard, but it looks like it could be a lot of fun. Maybe that's what I should play instead. What do you think? In SuperDerek news, last week I began releasing daily videos recapping some of the questions from my 6th year anniversary live stream Q&A bonanza. Extravaganza, whatever the word is, and it was covering the topics of what I think are RPGs, my favorite RPGs, and games that I want to play. And so far, it seems like you guys really enjoyed a lot of the recuts and re-edits of this live stream, and I enjoyed doing them. And I sincerely appreciate you guys tuning in to check those out. I did recently take the weekend off, though, because apparently putting out 5 videos a week is pretty exhausting. So I decided to take this weekend off, but I will be resuming more releases later on this week. I think there are about 3 videos left that I'll be covering as I give RPG advice, talk about the anime that I enjoy watching, and also just a video kind of with a lot of the odds and ends that really don't belong anywhere else, but cover a lot of interesting subjects that I felt still deserved a video of their own. So it's kind of going to be kind of a kitchen sink version of the videos. So I hope you guys enjoy those when they come out later on this week. Also, on Saturday, I was over on Bob Samurai's channel. If you're not familiar with Bob Samurai, he's an anime reviewer. I was over on his channel on a live podcast, and together he and I basically just talked about anime, RPGs, being a YouTuber, and just the kind of experience that we've found. I think Bob Samurai and I are pretty much very self-reflective people, very, very much into navel gazing, so we definitely go off into the weeds a lot of times, and it was a lot of fun. It was like a 2-hour thing, so if these 10-minute videos are just not quite what you're looking for, you just really want to just listen to us talk for a couple of straight hours about nothing and everything, then I think you couldn't go wrong. I'll link to his channel in the comments or in the description, or there's probably going to be a link in the top somewhere. But definitely follow that and give that a watch. Now, we've got some new RPGs that are coming out this week that I think you're going to want to pay attention to. The Age of Wonders Planetfall is a turn-based strategy RPG that's coming to PlayStation 4, PC, and Xbox One this week. Also, we've got Tactics 5, Obsidian Brigade. This is also a turn-based tactics RPG that's coming to Nintendo Switch. Pillars of Eternity Complete Edition is a Western-style RPG that's already on the PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, while it is currently coming to the Nintendo Switch this week. And then lastly, the DC Universe Online. This is a DC Comics-based MMO role-playing game that is already on the PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PlayStation 3. Well, now it's also coming to Nintendo Switch as well. So, we've got one last thing to do today, guys. The question of the week. And I really appreciate that you guys stick around all the way to the end and get to involve yourselves in these questions. So this week's question of the week is, what is a game that you should have played a long time ago, but haven't played it all the way through for any number of reasons? What is the game that you feel like the most shame for not actually having played yet? Because I actually have a few, but the one that I think really stands out to me as the RPG, the classic that I should have played and should have grown up with, basically, was Super Mario RPG. I mean, I own it. I have that on Super Nintendo. I've got a complete in box, believe it or not. And it's just been sitting on my shelf because I just never really got around to it. I mean, when I first wanted to start playing that game, I think around that time Nintendo of America was doing this really stupid YouTube policy where basically if you covered any of their things, you'd get a copyright hit. And as a result, I ended up sort of boycotting a lot of what Nintendo had to put out. It seems like they've taken their heads out of their butts at this point, so I don't see anything, keeping me from doing that at this point, except at this point, I'd say it's kind of become a thing, right? It's been on my mind so much, I'm building it up. I hope that I can just enjoy it for what it is when I do get around to it, but I don't know when that will be just yet, but that's the one. Also, regarding last week's question of the week, I'd like to thank you all for keeping it relatively civil overall. There were a few people who I think were new to the channel and really were just coming up to stir up some crap. But for the most part, I think everybody handled it really well, and I'd like to just extend my sincerest appreciation to you guys for being as awesome as you always are. Anyways, guys, thank you again. If you've made it to the end of the video, be sure to hit that like button if you like this video. If you don't, you can give it the Australian thumbs up, as I've heard it referred to. Also, if you like JRPG news, make sure you subscribe. Subscribe, words are hard. And anyways, I will make more videos next time. Until then, guys, take care, and I will see you then. Have a good day, everyone.